Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, tuning in to Bills Central Radio?
Time now for Bills Central Radio with ProFootballCentral.com's Chris Brown and BillsMafia.com Del Reid.
Let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo. Touchdown, rain, sleet, or snow. Let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo. Defense, rain, sleet, or snow. Let's go Buffalo, let's go Buffalo.
We are live here on Bills Central Radio on this fine Monday afternoon. This is Chris Brown, your host, and I'm on the line with the co-host of the show, Del Reid. We got a great show online today. We have a few guests on the show. We have Kourtnei Brown as well as Crezdon Butler, but we have our first guest on the show for today, linebacker for the Buffalo Bills, Keith Pough. How are you doing today, Keith?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Chris?
Doing good. Thank you for joining us today and taking the time out of your day. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's definitely a blessing and an honor to be here.
Good. Now, originally, after the draft, going undrafted, the Bills signed you to an undrafted free agent contract. Why did you end up choosing Buffalo after the whole draft process? You had a few options, I believe, coming out. What intrigued you about Buffalo the most?
I guess the new regime, the new coaching regime, and Coach Pett's defense had an extensive conversation with Coach O'Neil at the Combine, and it was more so a feel. You know, I had a great feel with Coach O'Neil. We had a great conversation. The conversation was fluent and coherent. You know, there's never a pause. You know, we talked about football, talked about life, and talked about more about football, and I was excited to have an opportunity to work with him and Coach Pett and the new regime. I also thought, you know, it'd be a good fit for me as far as the defensive scheme and, you know, my versatile abilities to play different positions as a linebacker. So that was definitely the more important focal point of me choosing to go to Buffalo.
Okay. Now, originally coming out of Howard University, you had a mascot of being a bison, and
right.
previously you've said, you know, once a bison, always a bison. How does it feel to kind of keep the same logo, so to speak, and become a Buffalo Bill?
Oh, it's pretty cool. I didn't think about it until someone mentioned it to me via Twitter. I believe one of the fans of Bill Mafia tweeted me. It's pretty cool, you know, to keep the same mascot. I just thought about it. Like I didn't even think about it when I made my decision. So it was very cool, you know, to walk in the locker room every day. You still see the same logo. Just a slight color change, you know, from a bison blue or a darker blue to maybe a royal blue, and I add a hint of red. But it's definitely cool, and to keep the same logo.
Hey, Keith, this is Del Reid from BillsMafia.com. Thanks for coming on with us.
I want to say,
yeah, absolutely. I want to say it is. I was pumped when they announced that you had signed as an undrafted free agent, or even before they announced it, when it was all over Twitter and everything. I mean, during your time at Howard, you had some pretty amazing stats. I mean, you were the 2012 MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. You set an FCS record for 71 tackles for loss. Now that's you know, Howard's a bit of a smaller school. How are you able to flourish so well there?
I would say it's my work ethic, my film study, my preparation. You know, being in the coach's office hours at a time when I wasn't in class. You know, sometimes leaving class early so I can get extra film study in. Taking film in my room, watching it on my leisure. You know, not really going out and doing what other young men would do. You know, I dedicated myself to the game and to the preparation of the game. And most of it was just, you know what I'm saying, being disciplined within the scheme of the defense. You know, allowing the defense to make plays for me, you know, and me just making the plays I was supposed to make when I was supposed to make them. So I have to take credit for the hard work, you know, the discipline and the dedication, but I also have to give credit to my teammates and my defensive coordinators who put me in positions to make plays, and dialed up the right defense at the right time. For me, and I would say it's 85% the defense and 15%, my God-given abilities, just making a tackle, or making that play at the given time.
That's awesome. God gives the talents and the abilities, but it's up to you to do something with those, and that's what you're doing with
right.
the film study. That's encouraging.
Yes,
that's awesome, man. Now, when you were picked up by the Bills, you were projected as an outside linebacker. We know that Patton, his new defensive scheme, or at least we think we know because we haven't seen anything yet. We've just been reading, different, information that's available on the internet and everything. We know that his scheme is going to be a lot about confusion and moving people around and everything. So, so coming as an outside linebacker, I'm guessing that you may have some different roles, or that you may be doing, or maybe you've done already. Can you share any of that with us?
I mean, I'm definitely put in an uncomfortable situation, being that I'm playing some positions that I'm not very familiar with. It's my first time playing a few of these positions, but to whom much is given, much is required, and for me to have a opportunity, just to make the roster, I'm willing to do any and everything the coaches ask me to do. Coach O'Neil, he does a great job coaching us day in and day out. He brings that passion, that energy, and that fuel to the field every day and in the classroom. So under his tutelage, I believe that I can mold myself and make myself even more versatile in this league. Being that I am a versatile linebacker, but if I could put my hand in the dirt and to develop some very sound and concrete pass rush moves, to disrupt the quarterback's timing, or to give me a few sacks this season, it'll definitely help not only my career but the team that I'm competing for and playing with.
Absolutely, and you spoke about being versatile and everything. Now, with the Bills wanting to run, multiple defensive schemes with Coach Patton coming up in the upcoming season, you had mentioned a little bit about being versatile coming out of college. A typical linebacker is a little higher and everything. You would be typically considered, they say, an undersized linebacker, but you make up for it with your playmaking abilities. Do you believe that's something that attracted the Bills to you, with your playmaking ability and your ability to take on that role?
Yes, sir. I mean, the defense is very, like I like to call it exotic and funky, because there's so much you can do within one play, or within a certain package. And my versatility, my athletic ability, my playmaking capabilities, it makes me a quote unquote hybrid. Even though they say I'm undersized, you can never measure the will and determination of a true competitor, a true warrior. And every time I step on the field, I'm confident and I'm ready to compete. So that's me being undersized has nothing to do with me competing or playing on the field. There's a lot of guys in this league, or a lot of guys who flourished and been successful in this league, had something negative said about them or against them. Either they were too small, too slow, or they just wasn't panning out. Tom Brady is a perfect example. He took 6 quarterbacks before him, but now today he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in this game. So it's not about what they say about you or what happened. It's how you respond to it, and how you take that and turn it around and make it and use it as a positive, use it as motivation, use it as fuel. To every time you step on the field, you let it be known that, yeah, I'm undersized, but I'm still doing it. I'm still competing at a high level.
Okay. Now, being with the linebacking core, you have a few guys there in Manny Lawson, Nigel Bradham, Arthur Moat, some guys that almost have the veteran status, and you can also include Mario Williams and everything. Which of your teammates has kind of been the go-to guy when asking for advice, and why do you feel that they're in that role?
We have a great group of guys, a lot of stand-up gents. And all throughout mini camps, OTAs, all of the vets like Arthur Mose and Nigel Badham, of course Mario Williams, and newly acquired linebacker Jerry Hughes, they've all been a great help. Only had the opportunity to spend some time with Manny Lawson for the mandatory minicamp, but those guys bring a great deal of insight and wisdom to the game because they've done it for a long period of time. They're vested vets, so they bring a lot of wisdom, and they've been willing to share as much information as possible, and steady habits, how they pick up certain offense or how they certain tendencies of offense and in the NFL. Football is football is football is football. So any level you go, there's always going to be tendencies, and they've been able to share certain tendencies with me, certain pointers that I can look for, that'll make the game a little easier, make the transition a lot easier, and for me to adapt a whole lot faster.
Now, Keith, your first NFL training camp is 20 days away. I'm not going to ask you if you're excited. I'm going to ask you what excites you. I'm going to ask you what excites you when you start thinking about that, about getting out there in front of fans for the first time. What are you thinking about when I say NFL training camp? What jumps in your mind?
A dream come true. Really, it's all encompassing from, competing to being privileged enough to wear the NFL logo, to be a part of a great organization, headed in a new direction, great coaching staff, to just playing the game I fell in love with as a child, and that passion that drives me every day. I've thought about it a lot, but I haven't really thought about it because I don't want to get overwhelmed. It's a different feeling. As a kid, you hear stuff about training camp, and you watch it on TV. You watch countless episodes of Hard Knocks, and for me to actually be one of those guys that would be an active participant in the training camp, blood, sweat, and tears. Competing and battling every day against someone else who's competing against me as well. So it's a surreal experience, but I don't have time, to really relish in the moment because I will be in the moment, and I have to take full advantage of every opportunity that's presented to me.
That's a great point. Well, hopefully at the end of training camp, you'll be able to look back and be like, all right, yeah, I learned some stuff. I was able to get a hang of some of this stuff. I enjoyed it, but right. You're right. It's all business when you're there, right?
It's all business. Everything is all business from day one.
All right, so I haven't seen you play yet, obviously, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't watch any Howard games the past several years or anything like that.
A lot of people haven't.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm in the majority, but so I'm gonna say my favorite part about you being a Bill thus far has been just your positivity that I see on Twitter, and even this morning on Instagram. I woke up as a great ode that you had to your parents and everything. I think that's fantastic. So that's my favorite part about you being a Bill thus far. It's great. I'm looking forward to the point where that's overshadowed by your spectacular play, but right now that's what I got. I'm loving it. So far up to this point, July 8th, what's been your favorite part of being a Bill? What's the other side of that coin? What are you bringing to that?
My favorite part of being a Bill, I would have to say the overall experience. And I can't sugarcoat it because the transition has been, the transition has been indifferent. I've had my good days, I've had my bad days, just because the learning curve is totally different. But it's just the overall experience, a very humbling experience and enlightening experience, to say the least. You go from the top of the top to, back at the bottom of the totem pole, and you have to work your way back up. So it's definitely been a humbling experience.
That's great. It's always great to hear from a fan's a perspective about the athletes and the lives that they entail, and what they go through day to day. So it's great to hear, and we enjoy reading everything, like Del said. Now, on game day, do you have a specific routine that you go through, a specific regimen? Do you have any superstitions that you have before you end up taking the field?
I mean, on game day, I usually sit down 2 or 3 days before game day. I'm not really talking it because I'm focusing and I'm honing into my jobs, and I'm actually, whatever the game plan is or the scout report says, I'm running those plays through my head every day, and I'm envisioning myself making plays. I'm envisioning myself running these plays. And on game day, pretty much, I listen to my music and have my shades on. I definitely don't talk on game day. Of course, I'm excited. I go out, I run the plays on the field after I stretch, I run my plays. I go back in, I just get dressed. I listen to my music. I listen to total plays before I go out. I go out on the field, and one very special, I guess, routine that I have is that I vomit before every game. Something that started my junior year in high school. I can't explain it. It just happens. I've seen doctors, trainers, and no one has been able to give me a bona fide answer. But, I throw it before every game. I guess it's just the nerves or the anxiety, ready to get the game started. But, I throw it before every game.
Okay. Well, last question here before we let you go. With the approachment of training camp, as Del alluded to earlier, that leads into the preseason games and eventually the fall season, what do you think you personally have to do to make a huge impact, or just an impact even, to make the final 53-man roster for the Buffalo Bills?
I think what I have to do is whatever opportunity that I have, anytime that I step on the field, I have to make the best of that opportunity. If I only get 3 plays a series, 2 of those 3 plays have to be something that's monumental in the game or changes the game, change the momentum of the game. Whether it's two sacks, 2 tackles for losses, 2 tackles, I have to do something to be noticed and be recognized. I have to be productive. I can get 10 plays, but only have 2 productive plays. That's not productive at all. That's not going to be a catalyst to getting me, helping me, ultimately make the 53-man roster. So I just have to make the best of all my opportunities every time that I step on the field, whether it's practice or a game, whether it's special teams or any defensive series. Anytime I step on the field, every play, I have to play every play like it's my last, which I do day in and day out.
Well, we're definitely rooting for you as Bills fans, and Bills Mafia is rooting for you, and we definitely hope that you have a great training camp, great preseason, and make that 53-man roster. For those who are not following you on Twitter and want to check you out, even on Instagram as well, where can they find you at?
Okay, my Instagram and my Twitter have the same handle. It's KPough13. ITSKPOUGH13. I'm looking forward to you following me, interacting with the fans. That's probably the best part of this whole experience, interacting with the fans. It's amazing, what they come up with and what you say that they favorite and they retweet. So.
Well, we appreciate all the interaction, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your day today to join us on Bills Central Radio, Keith. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot, man.
And that was Buffalo Bills linebacker Keith Pough. And now I had the fortunate opportunity to speak with Bills cornerback Crezdon Butler earlier this week. And here is the latest interview with Crezdon on Bills Central Radio. And we're back here on Bills Central Radio. I am joined by a guest on the show. He is the cornerback for the Buffalo Bills, Crezdon Butler. How are you doing this afternoon, Crezdon?
I'm doing pretty good. Good.
Good. Thanks for taking the time and joining us on the show today. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
Sure. Now, we have a couple questions for you, so we'll go ahead and get started. You were signed in the middle of last year by the Buffalo Bills coming off the Cardinals practice squad. You played in 5 games and contributed a forced fumble in Week 17 against the Jets. What were your thoughts when the Bills signed you?
Really, it was just another opportunity, to showcase my talent and, contribute to a good upcoming young football team. So, I took the opportunity, I ran with it. I'm still working hard to, go after that starting position. So.
Okay. Now, how are you liking the transition to the new defensive coordinator, Coach Pettine? Is his style of schemes and everything fit your style of play, so to speak?
Oh yeah. The pressure we're bringing, and it doesn't give the quarterback that much time to think of where he's going to throw the ball. So, it's definitely a cornerback's dream to have the quarterback's mind and kind of hectic, so we can make more plays on the ball.
Okay. Now, this is your 5th year in the league, is that correct?
It's my 4th. Once my 4th.
Your 4th. Okay. Do you feel that Buffalo has been your best fit so far?
Really, yeah, I think so. Coming from Pittsburgh to Arizona, the defensive style was kind of the same, but as far as having new coaches, starting over, get a fresh start, and put something on the new coach's mind to make them remember you. So, I think it's just a fresh start for me.
Okay. Now, being that you've been here in Buffalo for a little bit, what's your favorite part about Buffalo?
I think probably how low key it is. It's a city, but at the same time, it's like back home. Everybody knows everybody, and we're a family around there in the locker room, so everybody takes care of everybody. So, it's a great feel.
So you like that family aspect of things?
Oh yeah.
Now, talking about, let's get back to the football field a little bit. The second cornerback spot seems to be pretty much up for grabs this offseason, with Stephon locking down the first position there. How do you feel you're going to compete coming up with training camp that's in a few weeks, and how do you feel you can separate yourself from other guys at the position?
Really just doing what I can control, going out there, knowing the plays. When they throw at you, make the play, and just, compete. It's all about competing when it comes to the league. Nothing's handed to you. So, you just got to go out there and go get it. That's my mindset right now. Okay.
Now, you talked a little bit about, going out there and compete. You've been known for being a long and pretty much athletic cornerback.
Right.
What type of style do you pretty much like to play? Are you more of a physical cornerback who likes to rough up the players, so to speak, at the line of scrimmage, or do you like to beat them with your athleticism when they're running their routes?
I think it comes, hand in hand. You got to know how to do both. You can't just be a, one-dimensional corner, or, they'll pick that apart. So with me, I try to work on what I'm not as good at. I like to be physical at the line, but, some receivers you gotta kind of finesse them sometimes with the athleticism that's gonna be at the receiver spot sometimes. So I'm just trying to work on, probably being more patient at the line of scrimmage with faster receivers and with the bigger receivers being more physical. So just gotta work on both. Okay.
Now, from looking at a Bills roster standpoint, who's your favorite Bills receiver to go against during practice so far?
I like to, as a corner, you like to go against the best. So I'm gonna say Stevie Johnson. He's one of the best in the league. He does it day in and day out. So Stevie's one of the best, in the NFL. So why not be the best to go against in practice? So.
Absolutely. Now, when you're going against Stevie, does he kind of tip the hat a little bit, so to speak, and kind of tell you what receivers are doing and to help you out a little bit, or?
Oh yeah, it's being, I said we were family, so why not help me out a little bit? He's not going to tell me at the line of scrimmage, but after practice he'll be like, just be more patient, especially with quicker receivers. So everybody helps everybody at Buffalo.
Okay, now you talked about the family aspect a little bit. Taking a quick glance here at the Bills roster, you see a lot of guys from Clemson and C.J. Spiller and Chris Harrison, Courtney Brown, Johnson Meeks, and yourself. Now there are also a few guys from Florida State and just recently EJ and Nigel, Shane, Dustin, and then Zebri and Garrison on the roster. Do you guys have a little bit of rivalry going on that you're all on the Bills roster?
Well, when college football season come around, it's time to, we're going to watch the game together. We still teammates, but, man, all love lost when the Clemson Tigers playing Florida State. So, it's a friendly little, we have a little bet, friendly bet, push-ups, dinner, So we're still family, though, but on that field, when we were in college, it wasn't no shaking hands after the game.
Right. Now you had mentioned, the Clemson guys picking on Florida State guys a little bit. Who's been getting the best of the best here lately?
You mean in college football?
Yeah.
I think it's even right now. Now, when I was in school, I only lost to them once, so I'm 3-1 against them. But right now, I think Florida State. I think they up right now.
Okay. Now, training camp starts here in a couple of weeks at the end of July on a Sunday, July 28th. What are you going to be doing leading up to training camp in the next couple of weeks here to stay focused between the mini camp and the training camp?
Oh, right now, I'm just training, getting my mind right. Trying to do it at least 2 or 3 times a day because with that fast-paced offense we got, you got to be in shape. So, the only way to get in shape is to be ready, get your mind right. So I'm training. I'm actually in Atlanta, training until the 20th, then I go back to Buffalo, get a few days to, rest my body to get ready for the camp.
Okay. Now, what are your expectations for yourself heading into training camp? I know the ultimate goal is obviously to make the roster and then obtain a starting position. So what are your expectations for you and the guys at the position throughout training camp and throughout the entire season?
Just make a stamp. You don't want to be the guy that's that the coaches can't depend on. You want to be the guy that they can depend on, throw in there any time of the game, and you'll get the job done. My mindset right now is to go into camp, be the guy that they can depend on early, and then try to get the starting position.
Okay. Now taking a look at the cornerback position, it's very young. You could say you're almost kind of like that veteran on the cornerback roster position. Have guys come up to you and asked a couple questions, and have you taken, so to speak, a leadership role within the position?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's all about helping the young guys out. I remember I was a rookie going in, didn't know anything. Like, the defensive style we was running in college was nothing like the defensive style we was running in Pittsburgh. So, the young guys will come up to me, and then, I'll actually take advice from them too. So, you can learn from a younger guy more than you can learn from a vet sometimes. But as far as, technique, you got to teach the young guys technique because they coming from a, college where they could do anything and still be more athletic than the receiver. So it's just, taking advice from everybody.
Okay. Now, keeping on track with the training camp situation up at St. John's Fisher, it's kind of a family-friendly, fan-oriented training camp area where the fans interact with the players and everything. How excited are you to go up there and experience that atmosphere?
It's a great thing to have, the family and the fans, because it keeps you going. With training camp, it's a long 2 months or a month and a half. You miss your family. So, the only thing there is the fans and the family. So it keeps you going. It keeps your mind into it, because it starts to feel like Groundhog Day when you in camp, day in, day out, the same thing. So it's good to have the fans that pump you up, get you ready every day.
Okay. Now keeping with the fans a little bit, let's get a little insight on yourself. Tell us something that some fans don't know, whether if it's a pregame routine that you do, a hobby that you like.
I actually play the piano a little bit. You know, I try to sing. I'm a good hummer, though. I can hum a lot. But I'm a funny guy. You know, if you follow me on, you know, anything, Instagram, Twitter, you see I'm a funny guy. And the pregame, I always do at least 50 push-ups so my arms will look good on TV.
That's good. Nice. Okay. Well, you had alluded to Instagram and everything. Where can the fans that currently aren't following you on Twitter, Instagram? I see you have some Vine videos out there. Where can some of the Bills fans follow you?
My Twitter name is Butler Boy, ButlerBoy 28, and my Instagram is ButlerBoy29.
Okay. All right. Well, we'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to speak with us today on Bills Central Radio. We wish you nothing but the best in the next weeks upcoming, leading into training camp, and ultimately throughout the entire regular season. We appreciate it, Crezdon.
I appreciate y'all having me.
What's up? This is Arthur Moats, number 52 of the Buffalo Bills, and you're listening to Bills Central Podcast on Pro Football Central. Go Bills.
Back here on Bills Central Radio, we have our third guest of the show today. We have linebacker of the Buffalo Bills, Kourtnei Brown. Thank you for joining us today, Kourtnei.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Now, the Bills originally had brought you in this offseason during the rookie minicamp workouts. Tell us how excited you were when you got the call to come to Buffalo, and also how thrilled you are that they chose to sign you after the workouts.
Oh my God, man! I was so ecstatic from the beginning. You know, it's always a pleasure and a blessing to be able to play for an NFL team. And you know, when I got the call from my agent to come, you know, compete for a job, I was super excited. I was already training, so I knew I would be in shape. It's just a matter if the coaches would think that I could help the team. And I thank God, and I'm happy that the Bills have brought me in and want me to be a part of something that we're going to have great this year.
Great. That's fantastic. Now, during your college days with your time at Clemson, you mainly played a defensive end role. The Bills have you listed now as a linebacker on their roster. Which one are you more comfortable at, and which one do you think you're set at now in the new defensive scheme?
Either or. I mean, I think that's another thing that I believe that God has blessed me with to be able to play two positions, and it's really in my benefit. And whatever they need me to do, even if it's snapper, whatever, I'm willing to help out. But I really like both positions. It shows my athleticism. Of course, when we playing linebacker, and as well, it can show my power and speed off the snap of the ball at defensive end. So I mean, like I said, it's a blessing to be able to play both, or to at least have people interested in you in both positions.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and it gives you that little bit of edge of versatility, so to speak.
Right.
Now, as we mentioned, Clemson University also has some fellow Tigers that are on the Bills roster.
Oh, yeah.
Such as CJ and Chris Harrison, just to name a couple. How does it feel to be on the same field with a fellow Clemson alumni?
That's another bonus that I'm excited about, being a part of the Bills. Crezdon, CJ, Chris Harrison, and Jonathan Meeks. Those are some good guys. I played with them, in college, and we went through so much, in college as teammates, and we've grown a lot and known each other. So now when I come into an organization where at the time it was just Chris Harrison and Crezdon, Butler, and CJ Spiller, they took me under their wing, showed me the ropes, and made it feel just like Clemson again, home, man. It's always good when you go somewhere to have buddies on the team, because that always makes the transition smooth,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It probably helps you a little bit to have that familiarity with some of those guys there.
Yeah, and even with transportation and just hanging out and and just studying playbooks, just everything as a whole, it makes things a lot easier.
Sure. Now, talking about the linebacking core and going back into Clemson, you have a little Florida State rivalry on there. You have Nigel Bradham, now E.J. Manuel there. Have you guys been digging at each other a little bit?
Oh yeah, man. Those are some great guys, man. I mean, of course, in college that the rivalry was there, but now, we're all after the same goal, and it's funny. Every now and then we may take a joke at each other. I'm pretty sure when Clemson plays Florida State this year, there's probably going to be some junk talking as well. But those are some great guys, and I'm actually happy to be on the team with them, because at least I know what they can do because I played against them.
Right, exactly. Now, the Bills' outside linebacking area in the core there seems to be a little bit crowded, and with undrafted free agent Keith Pough, who we just had on the show today as well. How do you feel you can separate yourself from some of those guys to put yourself in the spotlight a little bit and land on the roster?
Oh, well, I mean, right now, like I said, I'm not really concerned about the competition. I'm out here trying to compete and do exactly what they tell me to do, and show them that everything that I can bring towards the table to help the team be a better team. And I feel like with me doing that and focusing on doing what I'm supposed to do, that the rest will fall in place, So can't really focus and look at the competition. Right.
Kind of let everything fall in place and see where it goes from there.
Do with the coaches. Yeah, I'm just doing with the coaches. Make sure I'm in shape. I know my plays and being healthy, and the rest will fall.
Okay. Now, growing up through high school and selecting your time at Clemson, is there anybody that you tried to model your game after as far as being a pass rusher? And now that you're kind of switched a little bit to an outside linebacker role, with the ability to still put your hand in the dirt, is there someone you look to at that position as well?
It's funny that you asked that. When I was in college, I tried to mimic my game, certain styles from Julius Peppers and Mario Williams. And, of course, now that I'm on the team with Mario, it's like, wow, like I used to idolize him in college. Even when I was in high school, I remember when we went to NC State for even practice, I remember seeing him. So to actually be, suiting up with him, and it's just a blessing. And I talk and try to still mimic and do things similar to him because of who he is and what he's done for the NFL, So I would say Mario Williams. And at this point, now that I'm a linebacker, it's a whole lot different from, defensive end, but I'm just I like Alden Smith, I like, his game, so I'm just kind of getting a feel for a lot of different guys, watching and studying film from other guys, taking bits and pieces, trying to create my own style for it,
Okay. Now, with the switch from the DN to linebacker, Mario kind of had the same kind of switch back in his days in Houston towards the end of his career, 2 years at Houston there, and now switching to the new style defense. Coach Pettin is kind of wanting Mario to get back into that phase. Are you kind of picking his brain a little bit on a few scenarios and asking him a bunch of questions, being that you both are from the similar type of switching the positions a little bit?
Right, yeah. I talk to him a lot, again, like whether it's simple things where it's like technique, pass rush moves, drops, and just knowledge of the game. He's helping me a lot. He really has. And him and Mark Anderson, I take heed to all the veterans that are on the team that play my position, or as a whole, just trying to learn from them because they've been there longer than me. They've been in the game longer than me. So why not talk and sit, take information, soaking in from those guys,
Right, absolutely. Take in as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the defensive scheme that Coach Pettin is trying to install in Buffalo is kind of unique, and it's kind of picking on the NFL with a lot of hybrids, as they like to call them, to having the guys who can put their hand in the dirt but also stand up as a linebacker and pass rush.
Right,
is this the first time? Is this the first time you've been a part of anything of this sort?
Oh no, hybrid. No, first I was with the Niners, who eventually they had me as an outside linebacker, and it was cool. That was my first taste of it. Then the Redskins brought me in, and I was outside linebacker as well. But so I'm familiar with what's asked of me, So it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. I actually like it a lot.
Okay. Do you feel it kind of fits your philosophy and the way that you play?
Say that again.
Do you feel it kind of fits your philosophy and the way of your style of play as compared to others?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. This out of the two teams that I just told you, this team right here, what they are asking me to do is really going to help me benefit as a player.
Okay. Now, all right. Now let's talk a little bit about a little personal information here a little bit. Now, from being from down south in North Carolina, how are you liking the switch of the atmosphere to Western New York a little bit?
Oh yeah. I'm used to, like I said, the hot, being hot or whatever. I've played in football in cold places in college, but not like Buffalo, And again, that's something that I just worry about when it happens. But I did think about it, but it is what it is. I'm not worried. Football is football. You play wherever, snows, hot, rain. Let's get it. I just worry about that when that happens. But I have thought about it.
Yeah, well, fortunate enough this year, whereas in late December, usually we have a couple home games. There's only one home game in late December, so you shouldn't have to experience it too much. But we'd like to experience it in the playoffs and have a home game, so we hope for that as well. Now, also, let's give a little insight to some of the fans that are listening who might not know something about you. Give us something that most people don't know about you, whether it's a specific hobby that you have.
Let's see. I like music. I love music. That's actually one of my hobbies, and I listen to music a lot, and I'm relaxing, and I love action, like comic books and action heroes, Superman, Spider-Man. My favorite superhero is, I would give it to Spider-Man, but comics and stuff like that, I love things of that sort.
Okay.
Music.
All right, give us some of your artists that you like to listen to on game day.
On game day with Khalifa.
Okay.
I don't cheat my iPod. I don't shuffle. I listen to maybe one or two songs the whole time, and just get focused on that or whatnot. But most I say 90% of the time it's going to be with Khalifa.
All right. Now, as of yesterday, it would be 3 weeks until training camp starts. Not going to ask if you're excited, because I know you're pretty excited to jump at the opportunity. But what are you looking forward to most as training camp approaches here in the next few weeks?
You say what am I looking to the most besides training camp?
No, with training camp. What are you looking forward to the most with it?
I'm looking to see us as a team, as a unit, come more together, continue to grow, because I know it can be difficult. We got new offense, new defense, new staff, and I think during training camp this is going to really benefit us to where we can grow and as a team and gel and play football this year. I'm excited about this year, man. Buffalo Bills, we're going to do some nice things, so I'm really excited.
Okay. Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. For those who don't know you on Twitter, I don't know if you have an Instagram handle or anything, but where can the fans that are listening today catch you on Twitter so they can follow you throughout training camp and leading into the season?
my Twitter is Brown to the Bone. That's my last name, Brown, BROWN _ the number 2 _ the bone. Brown to the bone, like bad to the bone.
All right, yeah, bad to the bone. Kourtnei Brown, we'd like to thank you once again for joining us on Bill Central today, and we wish you best in the upcoming weeks leading up to training camp and further into the preseason and hopefully into the regular season itself. Thank you again, Kourtnei.
Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.
Football fans, check out ProFootballCentral.com for all the latest NFL news and analysis. Also, check out the very popular Pro Football Central Radio Network for awesome NFL talk around the league. Go to ProFootballCentral.com. ProFootballCentral.com.
Del, what do you think about all the thoughts that went through with Keith and what he said today?
He's got a great head on his shoulders. I love the fact, he's in his dorm room at Howard, looking at film, and the other guys are out partying or doing whatever it was he was alluding to. I'm psyched. I can't wait to see this guy get on the field. He's got a good mind for the game, apparently, and he has definitely the motivation behind him, and he's the kind of guy that if he succeeds and he does well, he's going to be able to inspire other teammates to step their game up too. But it's a little ways off yet. He's still got to make it through his first training camp as an undrafted free agent, but you got to like what you see so far.
Absolutely, and I think he said it well today, where he's just going to keep grinding, do what he's got to do, whatever he's got to take to make the roster. And I think the fans like to see that, and I'm sure the coaches like to see that as well, so that's good. Now we have a little situation developing with 1 week left for Bills fans. It's going to be a pressure time where Bird is kind of under the scope, and we're looking to have him signed. Do you think they can get the deal done within the week?
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. Anything I have would be guesswork. It's hard to tell based on the Bills' previous history, especially with Eugene Parker, Jairus' agent, with their that past history, but then juxtaposed with their current trend of re-signing their guys such as Kyle Williams, Stevie Johnson, Fred Jackson. That trend has seemed to change, but this really does feel a lot like 2007 with Jason Peters, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've seen people toss out the sign and trade scope with what happened to Peters and everything. I don't see Bird sitting out a year. I find it hard where a player can sit out nowadays with NFL careers being so short. But something's got to give here. I don't know how far apart they are in talks, but I would assume that these things tend to heat up relatively quickly when the deadlines approach. But also at the same time, there might be crickets going on, so we don't know.
Yeah, one thing we can't really get too upset about is, there's no news coming out of One Bills Drive. Well, that's kind of good. I'm sure they're not sitting around, playing video games or goofing off. Obviously, they care about Jairus Bird. They tagged him, so that he's on their radar. The Bills tend to run a pretty tight-lipped operation anyways, so I'm not really concerned about the news angle, but here's hoping they're able to work something out and something that's not going to hamper the team in the future as well. That's something to be to consider when you think of Eric Wood, who we spoke with earlier this year. CJ Spiller, they're going to have to re-sign him soon. I know his contract is structured in such a way where it's not exactly important to get him signed immediately, but that's going to be something they're going to want to take care of soon based on his age and where his contract fits in that whole landscape. So there's a lot of balls in the air right now with this whole scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Contracts are touchy nowadays, and you alluded to CJ Spiller. I personally think maybe after evaluating this year and see how things end up with the 2013 season, that they should take a look at his rookie contract, because he would have 2 more years, but would also give them some leverage to kind of give him a bigger contract, which would be good. But who knows? We'll see. We'll all be on bird watch, so to speak, this week. We have a show coming up next week. We'd like to thank you for listening to Bill Central Radio today, and we hope that we all have some bird news in the next few days.
Thanks for tuning in to Bills Central Radio. For Bills news, updates, stats, highlights, and more, log on to ProFootballCentral.com.
Shout, 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 shout. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Touchdown, rain, sleet, or snow. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Defense.